welcome back to Oakley Hour, and today is a very quick review of the Detective Famous Agency build, which has recently been done and on the channel. So this is our model here. It looks beautiful, and let's turn on the lights, and it is really quite spectacular actually. So my first pro for this is it is beautifully designed. There is so much detail on there. The bottles on the side, the papers thrown on the floor, the books on the floor. I think one of my books is coming up actually, the one right at the front, this one. Boink, boink. It's letting itself go. And the dartboard, pesky dartboard, and you know, just generally the details of it is really quite incredible. And it is rather delightful, isn't it? The second point is the book is beautifully colour illustrations, and it also points out things to be aware of, which is really cool, like which ways, sorry, quick hiccups now, which ways they want your parts facing. And it does detail that, like it does quite explain it quite well which direction you want everything. Bear with me. Okay, let's try that again. And I think you know, just seeing this, it's quite detailed even at the end as to where everything goes. I really didn't have, I don't think, any confusion on to maybe a couple of areas of where things go, but generally I knew what I built, where it was going to go in the model. Other thing, going back to the beautiful element of it, even the outside of it is rather delightful. It's got a different picture here to here, which is closer to this one, but it's still really quite nice, isn't it? Okay, number 3, it lights up beautifully. I mean, it's not dark. I thought it was going to be really dark, but it actually isn't. And let me zoom out a little bit, huh? I had a bit too close in there. So, a bit of paper. It's with my notes. So yeah, I think it's beautifully lit up, and even the clock at the back there is quite well illuminated. I mean, our bulb's right in the middle, which is nice, so you can see how it goes. So it lights up really well. I thought it was going to be really dark because of all the furniture and fixtures being dark wood, but it's not. It's pretty good. Fourthly, all the pieces are pretty easy to get out of the form. I'm not going to say I didn't break anything because I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure the majority came out fine, and wasn't an issue. I would suggest maybe going over some of the edges with pen, just so it blends in a bit better. I didn't have one matching, although I do now, they have arrived. But I didn't have any like wood colour pens or anything to make this match, so I would suggest that, but that's really up to you. I think it looks fine as is. I like the fact that the desk is not, you know, not every piece of wood is exactly the same, and that quite often is the same, is what, like old furniture is quite often like that. So other than this detective being very messy, but I think it's actually like I say, anyway, the pieces were easy to get out. That does mean that there are less breakages, which is good. Number 5, it is actually quite a colourful design. I mean, it's only got splashes of colour, like the dartboard. Some of the books have some red every now and then, for instance. The bottles are all different. The paintings really are very nice. And there's lots of that there, which does look really well. So those are kind of my pluses on this. So the negatives is that coat at the back here. So you've got a hatting coat right down the back. That clashes with that desk, so it can easily, I mean, it knocked my desk out actually, it made it loose. Unfortunately, I'd used wood glue, so it didn't really cause any damage, and I just got it back in. As you know, if you've watched the videos, you know that. But it was kind of like it was just too big for that area, and if you use their exact measurements, it definitely didn't fit. So that was kind of a downside that I felt. That was just too close. Secondly, some of the instructions just aren't clear. That clock at the back, no clue what those instructions were trying to say. I just still don't understand it. As far as the roof goes, if you saw the update, you know that I got this part wrong, where these caps are. They were actually in the middle. I didn't realise they had to go down the side there. There was nothing really that told me that that was the way, so I did end up with a break here, which actually needs sorting. Didn't realise it had come loose again. But generally the instructions were good, but there were just some elements that were like impossible to know what the heck it was talking about. Third, and it's a pretty big one, our little sensor here, which is meant to be a heat sensor. Either way, it does nothing, absolutely nothing. And I took it out, played with it, other than putting it in the fridge, because it's meant to pick up that heat. Once it's on at the bottom switch, fortunately it does have a switch at the bottom back here. Once it's on, it's on. You could turn it off, obviously, like so, and then you could put it back on. But you know, the sensor itself is just doesn't do anything really at all. I mean, even if I cover it up, I get close to it, and it's not like it's that hot right now either. So, because I understand it's probably temperature controlled. Fourthly, unless you can get that wiring for your lights correct, unless you can get it exact, you are going to be having leftover wires all over the show on the roof here. Some of them are really quite long. Once you have them in place, you've stuck them like they want you to at the back on this side, behind the there's a plinth behind that really bright light, so you probably can't see it. Maybe just anyway. But once those wires are behind there, if you have used tape to stick them, then they're not moving, and you are just going to have a massive excess over here, and you're going to be rolling up your wires and sticking them underneath. So I think that's very unfortunate. I mean, they need to find maybe just a better way, or don't tape it down. And I understand why it's taped down. It's because it's a bit fiddly, isn't it, really? But you know, so that's it was very much a negative as far as that goes. Also, a lot of the pieces, number 5, were really loose. I mean, pretty much everything needed to be glued in. It was very few pieces that didn't need to have glue to keep them in. So although I believe it provided it, I can't remember now, I think it provided glue, but you're going to be using it a lot. Let's just put it that way, an awful lot. So that's kind of a bit negative. I mean, I guess you could use tape and that sort of thing, and I personally would rather use glue than tape, but the parts were very loose on each other. And that was the last point. I do have my final thoughts, I guess, was that you've got to watch how some of these pieces go together, like how they're going to look in the model, because that is the direction that you need. And I said at the start, it does make comments on which direction it needs to go on, but just pay attention to that, because otherwise you will have, because the natural thing, like for that chair, would be to have the coloured side on the inside, because that's where everything else is, but that isn't how they want it. So a lot of these things only have decorative edges on one side, so just be aware of which side that's going to face. And like I say, it does say on the instructions, but it's easy to overlook that. I wish they'd got that clock right. I guess I got to go and fix my book there, and my little piece of wood up here that had got broken as well, which is very unfortunate. But I will go and do that. But if you wanted to paint these edges, I don't blame you on some of it. I mean, now I've got some of the right wood glue, maybe I'll go and do it. Nah, probably not. Too late. Like, you need to do it if you're going to do it when you're building it. Anyway, I think it's a lovely little build. I do recommend it. I think it's one that comes together very well. It's quite a quick build. It's not, you know, weeks and weeks and weeks like some others, but it, you know, just take your time. Some of these parts are very delicate. This roof is definitely delicate, very easy to break it, and the instructions aren't clear at all on how this roof goes on, by the way. I mean, it is literally unclear. Alrighty guys, so thank you very much for joining me. Please do like and subscribe. Any comments are more than welcome, and I look forward to seeing you again for more builds and more reviews. Alright, take care guys, bye bye.